All right, so it's been about 2 weeks since the New Year's. 2023 has started, and I have been working on my projects, working on everything that I've been able to work on as much as possible. Been working hard, focusing on my businesses, focusing on not businesses right now. Currently, I'm only focused on one business, and that's not to be disclosed until later, until I officially release my first podcast episode. Um, in case you're not up to date, this series that I'm going to begin soon and release soon, the podcast series, will be released after this trilogy type thing that I'm doing right now. I'm releasing videos to kind of build up a momentum towards the podcast. So that's what these videos are. Um, People are very much so interested now, and it's a very weird phenomenon that's going on, and I'm not sure exactly where it came from. Where I come from, we've been talking about things like this, talking about the Matrix, talking about all these traps that have been set in place for a really long time. And we've been talking about it for since I was maybe like 14, 15, around there. Like we started talking about it because currently I'm 17. This year we'll be turning 18, which is why this year is a very great year for me to document because this year will be my turning point, my turning year. And it's a very weird thing because like so many people are so like intrigued by the idea of escaping this entire matrix like field that we're in and trying to figure out how to be free because finally people are starting to wake up. It's starting to become normal. You're either with it or you're not, and it's becoming a very black and white type situation. um, Either you listen to people who are going to help you actively get out of this trap that's being set up and that has been set up for a very very long time, or you're somebody who's completely fine with living your life just like our predecessors did, our mothers, our fathers, how they lived. They went to college, they went to school for their entire lives, and at the end, they went to their jobs and got these jobs and they fought through it. Now, there's a discipline in that. I know a lot of times we'll get into these tangents, especially with people who talk about things like this in our field, in this specific niche, where they tend to bash like the entire thing about going to school and stuff like that. There is a certain discipline you need to be able to go to school every single day for long amounts of your life, years, we're talking decades here, and come out at the end with a job, and just like your number one priority is to provide for your family, it's to give your children a good life. That has been the cycle of our predecessors for years and years to have come, generations and generations to have come. That's why still in our generation, most parents will still want their kids to go to college, to continue the cycle that's been going on forever. And I don't want to bash that because that's a very respectable thing to do because we need people like that. The society has been created in a way where if we don't have people like that, we will fail. Tomorrow won't be a thing that we can look forward to. And we're kind of already kind of working towards that. We can every single day that we wake up, we're already like waking up and kind of declining. We've been on the steady decline for the years to have come, and it's a very dark reality, but it's a very truthful one. Now, within this year of 2024, we want to reach certain goals. What are those goals that I want to reach? Like I said from the first video that I uploaded, this is to document my life for myself. This isn't for anybody out there or anything really, but I figured why not? There's people out there that might possibly be able to benefit from what I have to say. And if that's the case, even if it's one person, that is a great deal to me. Because, like I said, being real, being a real person who cares with real care, real constructive ability to give a damn, is becoming so thin and thin, and it's so hard to find that it's absolutely like amazing when you actually stumble upon a person who actually cares. And we're living in that moment where people don't care enough about themselves to even care about other people. So that's why I'm doing this thing. I care about the people who are listening, and I care about myself first, most obviously, which is why I'm doing all these things to put myself out there first and escape all the traps myself before I can help anybody else. Because you can't talk about something that you haven't been through, which is why I'm actively working to get past all this. And the people who are gonna be along with me on that path are gonna hopefully stick with me, throughout my life. And that's what I can hope for. Um, by the year 2024, I want to have my business establish itself in a proper, neutral way where it is a household name, especially definitely within the Buffalo market, but we want to reach past Buffalo. We want to reach into other cities. We want to open up to definitely, I want to open up to New York City. That's the big one. That's really like on the top of my goal. I want to open up to New York City, my home city. I want to open up to neighboring cities like Rochester. I want to open up to different places, smaller areas, which I will be talking about in depth in more videos to come. Right now, that is not exactly what we're focusing on with the podcast and focusing on with that type of stuff. That's not what we're focusing on. What we're focusing on is trying to wake people up. Now, most people who are out here talking and really like establishing their life um, in front of TV screens and cameras and all these things are older people, are people who are in a situation where they have created it for themselves because of their age. And usually they tend to say things like age doesn't matter and stuff like that. But being young, like personally myself, if I'm watching a YouTube video and somebody talking about, um, buying your first house and becoming a real estate don and just like owning a bunch of houses and creating passive income and things like that, I'm like, damn, he's like 30 years old. Obviously, he's had the time to establish that. How do I make that applicable to myself as a 17-year-old man? Like, how do I do that? And it's very tough to do that, which is why I thought that there was a need for me particularly to come out and do this in the time that I'm in, because I am, like I said, 17, and there are so many 17-year-olds out there who are obsessed with the idea of escaping these traps that have been set out, that we can really start a movement here. And there already is a creative movement going on with people that I won't mention their names simply because of censorship. And even though this channel isn't big at all or anything, censorship is real. And I believe that if I say certain names, there will be negative kind of connotations and people will come in, and it just will be something that I don't have the time, frankly, or the ability or the concern or the want to deal with right now. So it's better I avoid that. Um, we want to get to that stage in our life. Now in 2024, what work do we put in? We need to like observe how we've been living the past decade of our lives, because we're about to hit that 20 age mark. We're about to hit that mark where there is going to be zero return. Our childhood is gone. There's no going back. We might try to hold on to that. Like even me, sometimes I'll sit down and I'll try to watch my like childhood shows, and I know you guys out there probably do the same thing sometimes, and you just try to like enjoy the time by like doing things you would in your childhood. But we have left that point. There is no return. We're not going back. We're not going to get our childhood back. It is time to be ourselves and the best version of ourselves, or actively building towards the best version of ourselves. And if you're not doing that, you are in the wrong place with the wrong mindset. And that's completely fine. We need people who aren't trying to free themselves. We need people who are comfortable with working 9 to 5s. We need people like that, because without people like that, like I said at the beginning of this video, the society won't continue to run. There's been an infrastructure built, a society built on the standard of working class men and women. And that is a very important, and like I said, there's a dignity within that itself, and there's something respectable about that within itself. But the people that I'm trying to reach to are not those type of people. And even if, I mean, you can pick and choose what you want to hear, and pick it and like figure out what you want to use for your life in your situation. But the specific type of people that I'm trying to talk to are the same 17-year-olds that are in my position, who are going to high school or just have finished their high school life and don't know what to do. But they know that they want to escape. They know they want to be free. They know that they want to live a life the way that they want. All right. What do I mean by when I say like there are traps out there that have been here before you and me were ever a thought? What do I mean by that? Every single agenda that has been pushed in the last couple of years has came with a Trojan horse. They tell you that it's for your better good, and if you don't do it, that you're a bad person. If you don't do it, that you're killing other people, and that's how they broadcast everything. That's how they make you want to feel. Let's take electric cars for a certain instance, right? They want to tell you that you need to move electric because fossil fuels and gasoline is creating global warming, is creating all these issues. Sea levels are rising, and all that type of shit. Now, if you really look into statistics, the same people who are telling you that you need to stop wasting gas, you need to get electric cars, are the same people who are worried about these sea levels rising, and who are the same people who will go and buy beachfront properties and live their lives extravagantly in front of beaches, in front of nice water, in front of all these nice things, and they'll buy up these properties. Now, how does it make any sense? If that's not fine hypocrisy to you, I don't know what is. If that's not enough for you to be like, oh, damn, that doesn't make sense, I don't know what will be. Because it is these same people who are telling you that sea levels are rising, you need to do this, that, and the other to help the situation, are the same people who are going out and doing the exact opposite of what they're telling you to do. They're enjoying their lives exactly how they want. They are living their freedom how they're living it. Why the fuck would they give a fuck about you? They don't care about the mass general. The government does not care about you. They're telling you we're doing this. And a telltale sign within history that something isn't good for you on a national scale is that the government is pushing it. The government is pushing the use of electronic vehicles and completely going AI. Why do they want you to? Why are they pushing this so hard? You really got to think. They want full control. Do you realistically ever use cash anymore? Is cash even like really used? Like, think about it. When we were kids and we'd like go anywhere, cash was widespread. People would be using cash wherever you go. You go to the corner store, you use cash. You use anywhere you go, it's just cash, because cash was so widespread and everyone had it, and that's just the number one way of currency. And slowly throughout the years, steadily but heavily, it's been at a decline. Now we have Apple Pay, Google Pay, we're using tap credit cards, we're using crypto, and it's just everything is online based, and everything is in a way where they can control you and see. You know, I was just talking to one of my coaches, my wrestling coaches, and we were just talking about this exact thing, and he's like, Uncle Biden gotta know everything that you're spending on. Can I Venmo you? You know? And it's like, it's insane. Cash App, Venmo, all these other things, PayPal, like they're trying to control everything that you do. And by that, like how exactly do they gain control? If for the people not following, if they control your banks, if all your money's in a bank, if all your money's in Cash App, Venmo, and all that other stuff, if you piss off the government, they can easily go off limits, and you don't have access to that stuff anymore. We see it all the time. People get censored, people get canceled, and next thing you know, they get a mail, or not even a mail, it's email now. They'll email you and tell you that you have been locked out, where you're under investigation. You're under investigation for this, that, and the other. And that is a very scary thing, which is why it's so important to have cash, and it's so important to like, that's a caveat, because you can't really, it's not a smart thing to have cash. You don't want cash. My bad. You don't want cash. You want income steadily coming in a way where it's widespread. You want money coming in from all types of directions in ways where they can't fully put their hands on you and grip it. Things like buying up a lot of houses. Real estate's a really good way to do that, and just putting your name out there in ways where they can't really track you anymore. That's what you want to do. So when you buy electric cars, right, they tell you that they're going to start implementing these different rules. So say everyone on the earth gets an electric car. It doesn't even make sense. Where are you going to even get the infrastructure to charge all these cars from? Where are we going to get the energy to do that? Where is that coming from? Say that every single person has a car, and you got to charge these cars for 6 hours a day. I think some Teslas you can charge like 30 minutes even. And if you do it for 30 minutes a day, and everyone has to do 30 minutes a day every single time that they have to charge, like, where are we pulling all that energy out of? It's not a matter of we're helping the environment. It's more so a matter of they're controlling you. And now, they might say things in order to like implement safety procedures, like, oh, w- they automatically know by via Google Maps, via Apple Maps, you're in this location and the speed limit is 30, so that your car can't get pushed over 35. They'll start putting in rules like that because throughout history, this is what's been happening. That's what they do. They abuse their power. They make you think that things are going to work out for the better, and they make you think that it's for your own safety, and at the long term, you are the one that gets hurt the most. So the only way to make people safe is by taking away their freedom. Sure, you're gonna make them safe. Sure, doing that 35 mile per hour instance that I just brought up makes you safer, but it removes your freedom. And we, as a public, as a general public, want freedom. That's something that we should never ever be willing to give up, because with your freedom, you get to live the life that you want to live. Now, you have to do that moralistically. When you lose your morals, you lose a lot with that. You lose respect, you lose denominate, like you just enter into all these different caveats that are not in any way or any situation things that we want or need. We're already like in such a terrible position within the year 2023 that it's like we can't afford another big mishap like the BLM movement that happened a couple years ago. Like that, another thing like that cannot happen. We simply can't afford it. We can't afford another outbreak like that because we are so far brought back. We still haven't been able to figure out simple things like world hunger, simple things like tax, simple things like figuring out how to like make the poor break out of that cycle and make them more money, give them a free life. We have some like simple ass problems that we still haven't been able to solve, and there's an issue with that we need to figure out. You lose friends in the progress too. That's something I want to talk about. All right, because I'm talking about what I want to do in 2024, and I think before we talk about the future so much, we should talk about what's been going on in the past and in the present. You lose friends. I used to have people hitting me up all the time, like, when's the next party? When are you throwing the next one? What's going on? Like, like blah, blah, blah. We want a spring break party. We want a winter break party. And as I stopped throwing those parties, as I stopped indulging into that lifestyle, people slowly, slowly stopped hitting me up until it got to a point where my circle is very small now. I only walk around with very few people that I care about in a certain way, either because they have a benefit to me and that I benefit them, or it's because I love them. And there's no other line in between. Either I love you or we're benefiting each other and we're mutuals in that sense. So you lose people, you got to let people off. There's the famous statement of a bus has 40, 50 seats, right? But when you get to the top with a Lamborghini, it only has 2 seats. It's a very deep statement if you really think about it. Why does it get lonely? Because so many people think of you as the outcast. They think of you in a way where it's like, damn, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he talking like that? Like, where is he coming from with all that stuff? And you have to learn how to look at that and handle that and cope with it in a positive way and attribute that in a way where it's naturally going to incline you and throw you forward and not backwards. Because a lot of people get stuck up with that. A lot of people would be like, damn, I'm losing my friends and I'm not seeing any progress with the business, and I'm not seeing any progress with my YouTube channel. I'm not seeing any progress. What the fuck am I doing that for? So they completely stop, they throw it away, and they go right back to that lifestyle. And then in 20 years, boom, they're stuck in the matrix. They're stuck in all the traps that I'm talking about right now at 17. And that's not something that you should be okay with. Like, no one hits me up anymore. No one texts me, calls me, and asks me, like, hey, I'm thinking about starting up this business. They come with me a business idea and ask for help. They don't do that. None of my friends do that. None of them come and ask for help for that. Now, if I go to my Snapchat and post a story and I'm like, need help throwing a party, or I'm throwing this party, da 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 da, I will automatically have at least 10, 20 people slide up and ask me, yo, you need help, bro? Yo, I got this. Yo, I could repost your story, blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. Now, that goes to show you how far back we are as a society. People don't want to escape because they don't know what they're escaping from. That's how good these traps are. They don't know what they're escaping from, so why escape from it? What are you gonna. There's the famous statement of a person that I won't mention his name simply because of the censorship thing that I brought up earlier. If you believe in ghosts and you go into a haunted house, you'll be afraid. Now, if you don't believe in ghosts and you're not afraid, a haunted house is simply just a house. So, with that said, if you don't believe in something, then it's just that. There's nothing more to it. If you believe in something, there's that much more to it. Just with that being said, we need to like become a free nation once again, actually free. So many people have this slave like mindset where it's like, oh, the government told me to do this, I gotta do it because it's for the greater good. When has ever the government did anything for our greater good? When have they done anything that has helped you and your family? Ever? You're in this alone. So you better like grip onto your shoes and do shit on your own and figure out your life for yourself because no one gives a fuck about you, dude. You're very fucking alone in this world. And that's something I've come to realize at 17 because I've started these things. I've started talking about the Matrix. I've started trying to escape it. I've started my own businesses and I've started to drop people and drop lifestyles which people at this age, they'll tell you, this is the age to have fun. This is the age to party. What are you doing? Go enjoy your life. You have all the time in the world to go worry about your life, worry about bills, worry about all that stuff. And I'm the one sitting here telling you, you do not have time. That is the greatest trick that they play on you. They tell you you have time, and you do not have time. Every single generation, the life expectancy gets lower and lower. You don't have time. What is the average life expectancy now? 60? In 60 years, we're already 20. Almost 20. Let's start rounding a little bit. Because 3 years is gonna pass by like nothing. If 17 years went by like nothing, so we're 20. You have 40 years left to live a life how you want. And within those 40 years, let's consider the next decade a decade of work, a hard work. That leaves you with what, 30 years left to enjoy your life. 30 years will fly by like nothing once you get married and have kids and you have a house and you live like that. Like you have no time. So stop listening to all that BS where you're okay. It's okay to be fat. It's okay to be broke. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay is the biggest lie that they have been telling you. Because why? They want you to stay comfortable in that position that you're in. They don't want you to break free. They don't want free minds. They don't want that. Because why would they want that? That doesn't benefit them in any way whatsoever. You have to think like that. No one gives a fuck about you. You are alone. With that said, you have to figure shit out for yourself. Even me, I care about you, but my care for you won't benefit you in any way. So you have to figure that out for yourself and learn how to progress through that. Because if you don't do that by yourself, no one the fuck else will. And that's just simply a fact. No one's going to come and hold your hand through the dark and pick you back up. Getting into that brings me into my next point that I want to bring up. People are depressed. People are upset. People are sad. People are living very disgusting caveat. It's like they're living in very circular lives that I talked about in my last video that are very depressing. They don't want to live that life anymore, which is why the suicide rates are getting higher and higher and higher. They're steadily getting higher. They're not stopping. They're not having any breakage points. They're continuously getting higher. And I don't blame them. If you're living that life where there's really no success route that you see, I don't blame you. If I had that same mindset, I'd understand why you're suicidal. I'd understand why you'd want to put an end to it. Who wants to live a life like that? Who wants to live a miserable life like that? Because I wouldn't. So I understand where you're coming from, dude. But what I don't understand is the fact that you can go out there and get all the knowledge that you need to escape your situation and you still won't take it. Rather, you clinically diagnose yourself as depressed. I've watched that happen in front of me. I've watched people literally sit there and diagnose themselves as depressed and then go into their doctors and then get these pills. And all they do is take those pills. They don't do a single actual thing to get themselves out of this depression. Now, I don't believe in depression. I don't believe in, no, let me correct myself. I don't believe in clinical depression. I believe there are depressive states. I get depressed. You're human. I'm human. We get depressed. We get sad. You have instances in your life where you get sad. God created this earth or whatever you believe. I don't want to be, I know I'm talking to an audience where there's atheists here and there's a bunch of stuff. So I don't want to come down in a way where it's a very monotheistic way that I'm coming in. Whatever you believe, believe what you want to believe. But depression is a state of being. It's not something that is clinical. It is not something, there's no such thing as a chemical imbalance in your brain. It has been, go do the research for yourself. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're like, oh, there's a chemical imbalance in my brain that makes me depressed. And there's no way I'm just going to be sad. I'm just sad. I'm sad. Like, that is fake. That is something they sell you for their own greater good. Because why do they do that? If you're not depressed, the pharmaceutical companies that sell you these pills aren't making a profit anymore. And what happens then? Pharmaceutical companies are one of the biggest markets, especially in the American world. Like, why is it one of the biggest markets? So think about it. They want you to be depressed, because if you're not depressed, you're not buying pills, and if you're not buying pills, they're not making money, and the big people are sitting at the top are not making any money, and they need money. You know, the same people who claim depression are the same people who just take pills and don't do anything else about their depression. That is why they're stuck in that circular lifestyle where they are depressed and they have no way out, and they're depressed until they die. Either they kill themselves or they wait until their anxiety and tortures themselves to their death point. And that is a very sad, real way that is a very sad, realistic point of view that we're living in, and it's something that I want you and I want myself to break from, and I'm working from breaking from that. And how do you break from that? You get up and you still do the work that you have to do. Oh, you're depressed, oh, you're sad, get out, go out, get in that car, go to the gym, still do what you got to do. You got work, go get yourself out of bed. Just do it, because I promise you, by the end of that, you'll feel better than you would have if you stayed in bed, if you stayed in the position that you were when you first got those depressive feelings. So just get up and move. That is the number one way to fight depression. In a holistic point of view, just get up and move. Be productive. Start a business. Start drawing. Start selling things. Do something with your life, and I promise you'll get out of a depressive state. Someone that I've listened to a lot, that again I can't mention their names because of this stupid censorship that's going on, but he said, if you're suicidal, I want 30 days from you. I want 30 days from you. In those 30 days, I want you to go to the gym every single day. Someone that I listen to often a lot, but I can't mention their name for censorship, said this one thing that has stuck with me, and I say it to anybody that I know has been suicidal. He said, get a six pack first. If you're suicidal, get a six pack first. And by the time you get a six pack, I promise you, you won't be suicidal. And that has stuck with me because every single person that I've told that to and actually have listened and gone to the gym and got their life together in that like perspective hasn't been suicidal at the end. At the end, they were like, damn, thank you for giving me that piece of advice. You really helped me out there. And they've moved on with their life in very different ways, and they've grown to be very beautiful different people. And it's a very beautiful thing to see when you see someone at their low when they finally start reaching their high. And it's a very possible thing to do. But the only people who stay depressed are the people who don't do shit about it. It's the truth. Think about it. The people in your life that are depressed, do they actually go out and do things? Do they? Actual productive things. Let me get it right before I start getting people like, yeah, bro, they still hang out, they still do that, they still smoke weed, they still drink. Like, actual healthy productive things. Are they surrounding themselves with better people? Are they surrounding themselves with good habits? Are they doing these things? Are they checking those things off the checkbox? Like, are they doing these certain things to help them out of this depressive lifestyle? Because depression, like I said, is not a clinical thing. You have depressive states and you get out of it. Shit, your life is shit. Cool. You went through shit. Cool. So did the girl whose mom beats her. So did the guy who fucking got beat with a metal pole by his dad every single time his dad came home because his dad was a fucked up person, and he went to work and he was depressed himself, so he'd come home and take it out on his child. So did they. But the difference between you and that person is that they did something about their trauma, they did something about their depressive states, they went and moved forward in a productive way. You didn't. You sat down, you stayed in bed, you cried about it. It's okay to cry about it, don't get me wrong, it's okay to cry. Just do that shit on your own. That's another whole tangent that I don't want to get into right now. When you cry to yourself and keep that to yourself, because people, it's been scientifically proven, if you cry in front of people, they automatically lose respect for you, especially females. If there's a girl you like, or anything like that, or if there's a girl you want to keep respect in front of, do not cry in front of her and do not show emotions, because it has been literally scientifically proven and statistically proven, when you show emotions to a girl, they start losing respect for you, and they don't have that natural, like, oh, he's a man, he has his manhood in check. And you can fight back with me on this, but there's no point of doing it. There's literal scientific facts. You can go on Google and look it up yourself, and you can find out for yourself. I don't want you guys to listen to me and just be like, oh, because he said this, it must be true. Bro, vet me on everything I say. Go to Google and do your own research, just like I did my own research. It's not a single thing that I will say unless I'm 100% sure that it's true. Why? Because I've lived through it either, or I have seen the research and I've done the research and I've seen the statistics. So live that and take it how you want. That brings me to my next and probably final point for tonight. It's getting late. It's almost 3 a.m. where I'm recording this, but 2023 is not a year where you can be normal anymore. It's not a year where you can be normal anymore. And this point right here is gonna be a very deep point that either you're gonna catch or you're not gonna catch. And if you don't catch it, that's unfortunate for you. That's cool. Do what you want to do. But if you do catch this and you're following with everything that I'm saying, then this is gonna hit you as hard as it hit me. You cannot be normal anymore. Being normal puts you at such a disadvantage, especially in 2023, that by 2030 you are going to be at a decline. You are going to be a loser. And if you're okay with that, that is fine. If you're cool, being normal is still okay. It's still socially accepted a little bit, but if you can't tell, slowly it's coming at a decline. It's becoming normal to not be normal. People who are at an extreme, people who are crazy about their business, crazy about making money, crazy politicians, crazy about their productive things that they do, crazy about their hobbies. Those people are the people that people are interested in now. No one's interested in somebody who lives a normal life, goes to high school, comes home, plays a little bit of video games, does nothing really interesting. No one the fuck is interested in you. You're a fucking loser. Like, no one the fuck cares about you other than maybe your friends. And let's be honest, they'd probably drop you if it came down to you, or even like $1,000. Let's be honest. How many other real friends do you have are actually real? You don't build real friends by being normal. You build real friends by going through actual adversity and figuring out who sticks with you after that adversity. Which is why, in my point of time and in my life, I don't know who my real friends are. But I'm comfortable being where I am because I have a small circle and I know that I benefit them, they benefit me. And the people who don't benefit me, and I don't necessarily benefit them, or I do benefit them, are there because I simply love them and I have unconditional love for them, natural, good, pure love for them, because I care about them from the bottom of my heart, because I was taught how to love correctly, which a lot of people aren't taught. Like, it's crazy. Like, I've met enough people in my life where they're weirded out by when I show them affection and show them love in the way that love and affection is supposed to be shown. When I call them and when I text them paragraphs and to check up on them, and they'll just be like they'll call it cringe, they'll call it weird and stuff like that in the beginning, up until I like make it a norm to them, because they'll be like, oh, that's weird. Why exactly do you think that's weird? The only reason you think that's weird, let's be honest here, is because no one did that for you. You've always had this like thought where it's like, oh, that's cringe, ooh, but you've never actually had that done for you. You've never actually had someone care for you. So now finally when you have it, you automatically go to that natural set motion of actions where it's like, ew, cringe, ew, feelings, ew, NPC error. That's how they want you to be. They want you to be a robot. They don't want you to have feelings. They don't want you to be success. They don't want you to accept actual care and love. They don't want you to do that because they're trying to control you. They're trying to make you these things, mindless creatures that don't care about themselves anymore. They want to use you as disposables. And that's something that you have to be not okay with. And like, you have to figure out how to escape that. So going back to being normal, if you're normal, it puts you at such a disadvantage. And why do I say that? Because if you're a normal person, everything that you want, someone else wants. Someone else wants. And we live in a world where we have 8 billion people now. Within that, if you live in America, we're talking about, we have, what is it? Close to like 350 million people. If you want a girl, that girl is wanted by other people. If you want, every single dollar you want is wanted by somebody else. So now if you're not doing something specific and unique, you will not get ahead of it, and you will not, there's no surefire proof of you getting that thing. There's no surefire proof of you getting that girl. There's no surefire proof of you getting that dollar. It's really just up to luck. It's really just up to the matrix choosing out who to give it to. And now if you don't accept that reality and break past that, you will never ever progress in your life. You won't. You'll stick and always live with what they give you, and you'll learn to take, and you won't learn you won't learn to like dominate and take what you want. You only learn to take what they give you. Another thing I want to bring up, and this will be the last one that I bring up, is healthy authority. We lack healthy authority. We don't have people above us that are good for us anymore. I know so many girls who are surrounded by terrible people. Now, to them, it's like, oh, we're friends, oh, we're cool with them. And in my head, as a dude who knows what dudes think, it's like, no, what? He's a 19-year-old guy, and you're 16, and you guys are friends? Come on. You're a pretty looking girl. Let's be honest, you're a pretty looking girl, and you're telling me that he just wants to be friends with you? Come on, you're smarter than that. We all know what guys want these days. Guys are very nasty creatures, and girls are getting to the point where they're becoming nasty very equally. And it's a very disgusting world that we live in. And if you don't vet your people correctly, you will get fucked over and over again. You have to figure out how to break free of that. You have to have a healthy authority. You have to figure out the people who care about you and actually care about you, and you have to put them in a pedestal past the people that don't actually care about you. Like, for instance, let's just say, for example, I have this girl I deeply care about, and she knows I deeply care about her. I will do everything in my power to make sure that she is protected from the world. And it's even so worse if she doesn't really understand the world that I understand, because I've seen things. I have seen victims of rape. I have seen victims of... I don't even want to bring up other things because it's going to get me into a tangent, and this video will be longer than an hour, and I don't want that happening. But I've seen nasty, nasty things happen, and I've seen the products of that. And it's a very disturbing reality, and it's something that I don't want for anybody. Not a single person. Certainly not if you're a girl that I specifically very much so care for. Now, if I tell you that, hey, listen, don't go to that place. Don't go to that party. Don't go here. Don't go there. Don't go outside at this time in this locality. It's not me trying to control you. I'm not a jealous boyfriend. I'm not a jealous person. I'm not somebody who's like your father who actually, like, I won't lose anything other than maybe I'll shed a couple tears if something bad happens to you. Not shed a couple tears. Let me not sound like a douchebag. Yes, I'll be affected. Yes, not affected. I'll be hurt that something that nasty happened to you. But why the fuck would it matter to me if you didn't listen to me in the beginning, when you know damn well I have that knowledge, and you know damn well that I've been through things and I know what I'm talking about, and you still chose not to listen to me? You still wanted to listen to yourself in a world that is very disgusting. You brought it upon yourself. So if that happens to you, don't blame yourself, dude. Let the girl do what she wants to do. Let her do what she wants to do. And at the end, she'll realize, whoa, that guy actually cared for me. Like, in a way where no one else cares for me. And they'll always come back to you. Why? Because you've left a positive impact in their life that other people were not, like, able to make. So when that's done, that person will always continue to come back to you because you showed them actual care. You showed them actual, like, love that they weren't shown, and affection and consideration that they weren't shown by anybody else. And that's one of the greatest psychological tricks to keeping somebody with you. Now, if you put it like that, it makes it a very dirty thing. So don't think of it like that. If you're thinking of it like that, you're probably the next Jeffrey Dahmer, and I don't want anything to do with you. Don't quote me on anything or anything. But if you are a genuine person who has a genuine heart and genuinely cares about people, then be careful. Give your care to people that will care for you, so that you don't get your heart broken. Because getting your heart broken is not something that's fun. I've watched that shit happen firsthand, and it's not it's not something that anybody should go through, but it is something that some people need to go through at times. So heartbreak is not something that everyone should avoid, but it's something that I feel like you should protect yourself from, especially if you're not in the time and place to accept something like that, which not everybody is. Like me personally, I can't take a heartbreak right now. If I really loved a girl and she she was like she broke my heart in whatever several ways there are to break a man's heart, then I probably wouldn't be okay. Now, would that let that stop me from doing videos? Would that let that stop me from working on my business? No, but that would probably throw me off in a spiral in a way that I don't want to get thrown off of. That would probably kill me mentally because I'm honest. I'm not mentally where I want to be, which is why I'm working and I have a plan. And by 2024, mentally, I want to grow in many various ways, which we're working on. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there within time. But just ending off on that healthy authority, if she does not care to listen to you, do not be there when she needs you at the time of need, because that makes you, she automatically lost respect for you. Because a girl that respects you listens to you. She listens to what you have to offer, and she takes what you have to offer, and she gives back as much as she can. But somebody who does not respect you, doesn't listen to you, even though they know damn well you know what you're talking about, they still want to listen and do things for themselves. And that's completely fine. And though often guys that disguise that under the term of I want to see for myself. Who the fuck wants to see things like that for themselves? Why would you want to see shit like that for yourself? I'm telling you from experience that I know this is going to happen if you do this. So please, please don't do it. Now you want to go do it and you want to see it for yourself, make it make sense. You don't want to do it for yourself. You just don't have the respect for me to actually care about what I have to say so that you will stay away from it. Let's just be honest. Like, why we can have honest dialogue. I'm an adult, you're an adult. Why do we have to disguise it in the terms of, oh, I want to see for myself. Oh, I know what I'm doing. When you and me both know that's not the case. Be smarter. And that's the end of this video. Um, I will be uploading my first podcast episode soon, so please stay posted. I have came up with a name for it, working on a cover for it, and I'm working on bigger plans for it as well. Obviously, I want to get it on Spotify and different platforms like that, so stay posted. Thank you. Bye.